What's up everyone, Kawaii here for a different type of top 10 for you guys. 2023 marks the 5-year anniversary of this channel, and also 5 years since my old channel got terminated. But we're not here to talk about that right now. So to kind of celebrate the 5-year anniversary of this channel, I've had a few special video ideas planned, or at least in mind. And this is one of those videos ideas. Yeah, I will be counting out the top 10 worst anime that I've ever reacted to. And for those of you who are asking, yes, I do have a top 10 best anime that I've ever reacted to videos planned. So yeah, as many of you guys know, when it comes to picking out seasonal anime to watch, you don't know if the anime you picked is something that's going to be really enjoyable or something that's really unenjoyable. This video is all about the latter. These are all about the anime that I've reacted to that either disappointed me, bored me, or just in general, anime I just didn't enjoy reacting to and just didn't enjoy watching. So yeah, other than that, without further ado, let's get to it. Oh, and before we get started, I do want to let you guys know that this is different from my other top 10s because unlike my other top 10s where I have like, you know, part of the OP playing for the anime and I list all the reasons why I like that anime. In this top 10, I decided to go more in depth as to like why I dislike all of these anime. I feel like, you know, this way just works better than my traditional top 10 format. But yeah, other than that, without further ado, let's get to it. Number 10 on the list is Our Last Crusade or The Rise of a New World. I remember the reason why I reacted to this show was to replace another show that I was doing reactions to that I dropped. I can't remember what it was. I think it was Tower of God. Like, I think I just stopped live reactions halfway through that and decided to watch it on my own time. Or it was one of those shows. But yeah, anyways. Yeah, I remember like I started reacting to this anime like around like some halfway mark. Like it wasn't on the very first episode. It was during some halfway mark. And boy, did I regret reacting to this anime because it is by far one of the most generic, mediocre, light novel adaptations I've ever watched. I remember the whole reason why I decided to watch this show was because, you know, just judging by the synopsis and the PV, I thought there was going to be like, or at least I was hoping that there would be a good blend of action and romance. And that's not exactly what we got. First of all, let's talk about the romance. I honestly can't remember if anything came out of the romance in this show. And I'm pretty sure it's not just because I have shit memory. I think I remember the main couple, they went on a date once or twice. But that's pretty much it. I don't even remember if they actually hooked up or if they were hooked up to begin with. Yeah, I don't think there's anything noteworthy or entertaining when it comes to romance. As for the action, it was there. It definitely wasn't affordable levels. It definitely wasn't mind-blowing or anything. The action was it was there. It was decent, I guess. But yeah, other than that, I don't know if there's anything else like noteworthy or significant out of this show. It's just, all I remember, it was just bland. It was just generic light novel shit. So yeah, Last Crusade or The Rise of a New World, it definitely deserves to be on this list, and I'm still baffled why this is getting a season 2. Yes, that's right. For those who don't know, they actually did announce a season 2 for the show. If you can actually still remember this show. Number 9 on the list. Now, this is kind of a controversial placement. I say this because this is an awfully generous placement on the list for what is widely regarded in the anime community as one of the worst season 2s ever made. I am talking about The Promised Neverland season 2. Now, the reason why this is only number 9 is because I actually enjoyed the first few episodes of season 2. However, it wasn't until when the second half came along that's when I started noticing the problems with season 2. And by the time we got to the last episodes, yeah, if you watch Promised Neverland season 2, then you know how much this anime shit the fucking bed. To this day, I still feel so bad for the Promised Neverland fans. The anime adaptation for this series got done so dirty with season 2. Of course, like considering you got the horrible pacing, the rush content, and condensing whole arcs into a PowerPoint presentation at the end. No, all you Promised Neverland fans don't deserve that. Yeah, there's a reason why a lot of people in the anime community like to pretend Promised Neverland Season 2 doesn't exist. But yeah, anyways, number 8 on the list. That would go to Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2. I don't know how many guys would consider this worse than the Promised Neverland Season 2, but for me, it kinda is. I wasn't the biggest fan of Rising of the Shield Hero Season 1, but I definitely enjoyed it, and I expected Season 2 to at least be decent. Sadly, it wasn't. First of all, the story is lifeless. The Spirit Taurus arc, after I got done watching that, I mean, it was okay. However, I still, like many other people, I expected something more out of Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2. So when I heard that the arc after the Spirit Taurus arc was better, I thought, that left me optimistic. I thought, okay, well, I trust the source material readers. Let's see what the next arc has to bring. It wasn't. The next arc after the Spirit Taurus arc was not better. In fact, during the second half of the anime, I felt like the more episodes I watched during the second half, the more bored I got. The more I felt like I was just going through the motions. I was just doing live reactions because I felt like I had to finish the anime. Not because I actually enjoyed the anime, but simply because I felt like I had to finish it. But yeah, that's not something I should feel. That's not a feeling you should feel when you're doing anime live reactions. You shouldn't feel like that you're going through the motions, right? That's not something you should feel when you're doing content creation in general. But that's how I felt while reacting to Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2. Now, yes, I could have dropped it. In fact, I think I did consider dropping this anime, but I don't know. I think the reason why I didn't drop it is because I wasn't reacting to a lot of shows during that season. So I thought, you know what, fuck it, I might as well just finish it. So yeah, it is kind of, I guess, yeah, in a way, it is my fault for, watching the show in its entirety. Also, let's talk about the ending. While we're at it, let's talk about the ending. The ending was literally just a filler episode. I remember it was like, what was it, a 13? It was like a 12 or 13 episode anime. And yet the penultimate episode, the second last episode, felt more like a final episode than the actual final episode that we got. It was insane. I don't understand why they decided to choose that episode as a way to conclude season 2. It made no sense to me. It was a completely unnecessary final episode, like filler episode. Also, the animation was lackluster. I don't like listing for a lot of anime, I don't like listing animation as a significant drawback, because I know that not all anime has Ufotable or Mappa levels of budget, and I know that just when it comes to animation, there's different factors you have to consider, like time constraints, budgetary concerns, what the higher ups decide, all that. However, when it comes to shows like this, shows that I don't enjoy, I decided to list animation as a drawback. I mean, the animation was pretty wonky at times in season 2. Also, another gripe I have with this anime, it introduced one of the most annoying, if not the most irritating character to come out in 2022. Of course, I'm talking about Kyo. Look, of course, no hate to the voice actor. I'm sure he had a ton of fun voicing this scumbag. However, that doesn't change the fact that he is still annoying and irritating as all hell. Every fucking time he opened his mouth, I could just feel my brain cells just dying one by one. I wanted to put power drills into my ears, man. It was Oh my god. Every time he was on screen, it was such an unpleasant experience. And I don't understand why the author wrote him that way. Ah, man. Yeah, he was just so fucking annoying. But yeah, other than that, Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2, it was bad. It was really fucking bad. And it definitely did not give me any high hopes for Season 3. Number 7 on the list has to go to Urasekai Picnic, aka Other Side Picnic. I label this anime as the most disappointing anime of 2021 in my opinion. Now, I love Yuri, and anytime I see an anime with the Yuri tag, I have to check it out. And this anime was no exception, because it did have the Yuri / Girls Love tag. However, I also remember it had the either the horror or psychological tag on it. It doesn't have it on my anime list anymore. They changed it. But I swear to you, I saw either the horror tag or psychological tag. Like when I found this anime on my anime list. Either there was some sort of Mandela effect on me. But yeah, anyways, when I saw that tag, that got me even more hyped. Like, how many anime out there have both Yuri and psychological, like, thriller horror elements? However, the reason why I was so disappointed with this anime is mainly because it was boring as shit. First of all, let's talk about the Yuri aspects of the show. There is barely any Yuri in this anime. There is barely anything that can be considered Yuri in this anime. In fact, the Yuri in this anime is at most Yuri undertones. That's it. There is actually no like romance development or like cute or wholesome moments or anything like that. So yeah, I don't understand it's barely Yuri. That's what I'm trying to say. As for like the psychological horror aspects, there were some unsettling scenes. In fact, I think there's like only one scene that I would consider like actually pretty scary. Like, I think it was like back around episode 4. There was like kind of like a jump scare type scene that I remember. But other than that, it wasn't that kind of shocked me. But other than that, I definitely wouldn't consider it like a horror psychological anime. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's why they changed it on my anime list. They changed the tag on my anime list. Right now, it's only labeled as like sci-fi or like adventure or whatever. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they removed the horror and psychological thriller tag because this anime just wasn't scary. But yeah, other than that, like I said, the anime is just boring. It is so boring. Like especially the ending. The ending was just a huge, big old fucking nothing burger. Like it was probably, the final episode was probably the most boring episode of them all. So yeah, I definitely do not recommend this anime. If you're watching this for the girls' love or the Yuri aspects, you're probably gonna be disappointed. If you're gonna be watching for the sci-fi aspects, you might find some intrigue there. Personally, for me though, I did not find really that much intrigue with this anime. Number 6 on the list is Faraway Paladin. Now, one of my MOs when it comes to watching anime is if I don't like the main character, chances are I'm not gonna enjoy the rest of the anime. I'm not gonna like the rest of the anime. And that's pretty much the case with this anime. Because one of the main problems I have with Faraway Paladin is the main character. He was one of those generic wimpy protagonists that whines a lot. There was just really nothing likable about him, at least in my opinion. I remember he just whined and cried a lot. And the thing is with protagonists is that, I understand, there may be reasons why he was acting that way, but you can make a likable and interesting main character that deals with issues deals with similar issues that he's going through without making him a complete fucking wet wipe. He legit has the personality of a dishcloth. Yeah, so yeah, the main character definitely wasn't likable. And aside from him, there was just really nothing else interesting going on with this anime. There was really nothing else to look forward to. Nothing that really kept my interest. In fact, I barely remember anything else from this anime. In fact, yeah, that's pretty much why I dropped it after, say, I think like around episode 6 or 8. Yeah, I didn't just drop reactions to this show. I just dropped this show in general. I just stopped watching after a certain point because honestly, this anime just lost my interest really quick. So yeah, Sai Hateno Paladin, aka Faraway Paladin, definitely deserves to be on this list. Alright, we're down to the top 5 now. Number 5 on the list is The Detective Is Already Dead. I said it once and I'll say it again. After the first episode, my interest in the series was already dead. First of all, Kimi and Siesta's relationship didn't really make that much sense to me. Like, from what I remember from this series, like, there was that whole fight on the plane they took part in together, and then afterwards, she intrudes into Siesta intrudes into Kimi's house. They were living together for a while, and then they had that whole fake wedding, and then Siesta put her hand in Kimi's mouth, and then it turns out she's dead, and then now Kimi felt that he has to go look for her. So yeah, the whole setup behind their relationship, it doesn't make much sense to me. I'm not fond of it at all. And I don't really like any of the other characters either. Also, like Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2, the animation is pretty lackluster. I remember when I was doing the wrap-up podcast for the summer 2021, yeah, I believe it was the summer 2021 season. Doing a podcast for our final thoughts on the summer 2021 season. I remember me and the boys were talking about like this one scene from, I think it was like episode 7. Like, it was like one of the episodes like after I dropped this anime. Of course, I didn't get to see it. It was a shot where you see Siesta, I think it was Siesta and Kimi. It might have been Siesta or Kimi. You know, they're hand drawn. The background, they're like in some city. The background's hand drawn too. However, in the background, you see this like realistic JPEG of a Volkswagen Beetle. Like, the contrast between these hand drawn backgrounds and this hand drawn 2D animation and this realistic image of a Volkswagen Beetle, this realistic PNG of a Volkswagen Beetle, it was hilarious. So yeah, oh my god, I don't think I'll be able to find that screenshot again. But yeah, for those of you who have watched this series and just so happen to know the scene that I'm talking about, yeah, it was hilarious. But yeah, other than that, there was really not much I liked about Detective Is Already Dead Season 2, apart from the first like 10 minutes of the first episode. I do remember though that I thought it was really cool that 2 Hololive VTubers, Fubuki and Matsuri, made a cameo in this series. So yeah, that's probably one of the only things, like two of the only things I like about the show. The first 10 minutes of episode 1 and the Fubuki and Matsuri cameos. Yeah, it's really cool to see, you know, Hololive making all these cameos in these anime. I know also that Pekora, she made a cameo in, what was it, season 2 of How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. I know, like, Subaru, Nene, and Aqua, they were involved in the ED. Like, they sang the ED for Jahi-sama. And just recently, Korone made a cameo in an episode of Yokai Watch. So yeah, seeing Hololive infiltrate the anime industry, you know, getting involved in the, well, no, I guess not getting involved in, you know, making cameos. I guess, yeah, sometimes getting involved with like these various anime. It's really cool. It's really nice to see Hololive branching into the mainstream and all that. But yeah, other than that, Detective Is Already Dead, not good, in my opinion. Number 4 on the list. This is actually one of 2 anime that I reacted to back in my old channel. Number 4 on the list is Osama Game, aka King's Game. Oh man, I remember the reason why I watched this anime in the first place is because, oh, you know, it's a horror anime. You know, I could definitely watch more horror anime. I could definitely, you know, put some more horror anime under my belt. Oh man, this anime was just trash. This anime was god awful. First of all, like Fairway Paladin, the MC is completely unlikable. That's all you need to know. Second of all, this anime is like a pizza cutter. All edge and no point. It's one of those anime where it's like, it's so edgy, so dark, so over the top, that it's hard to take seriously. For example, I remember in episode 2, there was this one girl that died. The way she died was she fell out of a window, and she was like, they were like high on top of the school, like the classroom they were in. It was like high on top of the school building, whatever. So yeah, naturally she fell to her death. However, like when you hear like impact the ground, you then see like blood like splattering all over the window, like splattering up in the air, even though they're like 3 stories up, like 3 or 4 stories up, and yet you still see like blood like just splattering on the window and like all up in the air. Now, I'm no trauma doctor. Like I've never seen somebody in real life fall to their death, but I'm pretty sure that's not like, I'm pretty sure that much blood does not come out of them. I mean, yes, like blood does come out of a person when they fall to their death because, you know, they suffer a traumatic head injury and all of that. But you don't see that like buckets of blood like gushing like 300 feet in the air. That's not how it works. Also, I remember seeing this one clip from like a later episode. An episode that must have aired like after I dropped this anime, which I dropped around episode 4. I dropped this anime like around episode 4. I remember I seen this one clip from this show, where it shows this white-haired girl who I actually, like, as bad as this show was, I would consider her my best girl. Like, I actually did like this character. But the way this white-haired girl died was she like all of a sudden bursts into flames. Now, normally when someone bursts into flames, like they're like screaming their head off, you know, they're trying to, you know, put out the fire because, you know, obviously, you know, because their skin is burning, like their skin is being burned off of their bones. So obviously that's a very fucking painful experience. It's not a good way to go. However, this white-haired girl, it's like she's more of a kudere type girl, and when she's like literally on fire, she still acts like a kudere. She still has that little kudere personality. You know, instead of going, ah, I'm on fire, ah, she was like, oh, well, I'm on fire. Okay. Like, that's how she was. She was still like very emotionless. And I remember like she just casually, like while she's still on fire, she was seen casually just walk into a window and she just jumps off. And I'm like, oh my fucking god, that's how my girl goes out? Good lord. But yeah, other than that, Osama Game, this is a horror, like death game type anime. But I gotta tell you, like, I'm sure you can probably tell from what I've been saying, this is not a scary horror anime at all. This is not a good horror anime at all. I'm sure like there's probably like dozens, if not hundreds of horror anime out there that's much better than this garbage, than this piece of shit. Number 3 on the list is Peach Boy Riverside. To this day, this is still one of the most baffling nonsensical anime adaptations I've ever watched. This is the anime where they literally pulled the watch order out of a hat. Now, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, so Peach Boy Riverside is this anime that's about like, what this anime is about is like this girl, like if I remember correctly, this girl, she went out to try and find like her childhood friend, and along the way she meets all these different types of characters, you know, as she's trying to find out, you know, what happened to her childhood friend, who just so happens to be this like really like this purple haired badass and all that. The first 2 episodes started off fine. However, the 3rd episode is when things started to not make sense, because during the 3rd episode, the characters were in this town that they weren't in the previous episodes, and in that episode, the girl finally meets her childhood friend that she's been searching for this whole fucking time. And after watching this anime, I remember thinking like, wait, did I skip? Like, did this anime skip some content? Like a whole bunch of content? Like I felt like this anime just skipped past like a few dozen episodes. Like, what's going on here? And then that's when I found out how this anime was adapted. Like they did not adapt this anime in chronological order or like as the source material was written. And as soon as I found that out, I was like, nope. I just noped the fuck out of the anime so fast. I dropped it after episode 3. Because what's the point of watching an anime if you don't know what the fuck's going on? Like if like the episode is only loosely connected to the episode before. What's the point of watching an anime where the watch order is more confusing than the Monogatari watch order? Like, oh my god. Yeah, like I said, to this day, I'm still baffled as to why they decided to adapt the anime that way. Like, just this seemingly random watch order. Yeah, Peach Boy Riverside sucks. Number 2 on the list. Now, this is easily one of the most controversial takes, one of the hottest takes in this entire video, but I don't care, because this anime was absolutely painful to watch, in my opinion. Number 2 on the list is Gamers. Now, I remember I had no plans to watch this anime because I heard that this was a slice of life comedy anime where the comedy is mostly rooted in misunderstandings. And that just doesn't sound like the type of anime that I would enjoy. However, the only reason why I decided to watch and react to this anime was because a patron on my Patreon recommended this anime to me. They wanted me to react to this anime. And so I decided, you know, I can't turn down a patron unless they suggested an anime that I've already watched. But I did not. But back then I did not. I've never seen Gamers before. So I decided to reluctantly react to it. And it was every bit as unenjoyable as I imagined, if not probably worse. Because the misunderstandings in this show, it was just so mind-numbing. I mean, I guess I understand why people would find that type of humor funny, but I don't. I found the misunderstandings in that anime so fucking frustrating. Like, seriously, there were so many, I'm pretty sure there's so many like scenarios in this anime. Like, there's so many misunderstandings in this anime that would have been resolved, that wouldn't have dragged on as long if the characters just communicated better. But no, that's not what we got. There was, oh my god, that's why I found this anime so painful to watch. The misunderstandings, like the wild assumptions these characters make about each other. It was infuriating to me. And now I have this rule on my Patreon that if I don't enjoy an anime, I have the right to drop it. But I didn't drop this anime despite how unenjoyable it was for me. And that's mainly because, you know, I don't get a lot of patrons on my Patreon. So, as the first since that person was like the first patron I had in a while, I felt bad for dropping this anime, so I decided to just continue, like, just finish this anime until the end. So yeah, again, it was kind of fault on my part for like drudging through this, but still. Also, like Fairway Paladin and Osama Game, the main character in this anime was unlikable as well. Overall, despite my strong dislike for gamers, I don't like ragging on this show too much because it was suggested to me by somebody who was kind enough and generous enough to donate to my Patreon. I mean, and of course, I don't hate them for it. I don't hate them for recommending me this anime. However, to say that it's not for me, it's not anime for me, would be a huge understatement. Alright guys, here we go. The #1 worst anime that I've ever reacted to. What is the worst anime I've ever reacted to? Well, that would be Fuka. Now, I said back in my Osama game, back when I was talking about Osama game, that was one of 2 anime that I reacted to back in my old channel. This is the second one. Now, for those of you who don't know what Fuka is or what it's about, basically, at least from what I remember, it's one of those like like slice of life music type anime, where like a bunch of characters, a bunch of students get together, form a band and stuff, and they have dreams of, you know, making it big and all that. They form a rock band. You know, we've seen shows like that before, like, you know, more recently, Bocchi the Rock and K-On! And all that. However, unlike those two, this is a rom-com. This is a romantic comedy. This is a romance. Sounds pretty good, right? It's not. It is not. It is absolute garbage. I haven't seen Bocchi Rock, but I feel confident in saying that this is probably, like, Bocchi the Rock is probably leagues better than Fuka. What makes Fuka so bad? Well, not only do I not like the main male protagonist, but I also don't like the main heroine either. I just found her to be so obnoxious and unlikable. In fact, the only character I liked from this series is this girl named Koyuki, who was like this childhood friend character voiced by Sari Hayami, and she lost in the end. Oh my god, if only you guys, like, if only some of you guys knew how disappointed I was when I found out she lost. But yeah, other than that, this anime, like, is one of the most generic, like, rom-com trash I've ever seen. Like, it's full of cliches and needless fan service. And by the end of the series, I was just done. In fact, let me show you guys something. This is the headset I wore 6 years ago when I reacted to Fuka. It wasn't always like this. It wasn't always this shitty piece of plastic with like duct tape on it. No, the reason why I have duct tape on it is because by the end of this anime, I literally threw this to the ground, or like I was like either on the ground or on my desk, and one of the earpieces fell off. I think it was this one. Yeah, the earpiece just fell off. It was literally like, if you watch my live reaction back then, you could literally see it like dangling from the wires. So yeah, any anime that makes me gamer rage, I feel obligated to put it as my #1 on like a worst list. However, to be fair, 2017 me was I would consider like a pretty different breed, like a whole nother animal. Because, like, to be fair, you know, looking back at it now, it was kind of an overreaction, not gonna lie. Because, you know, I mean, the main girl's Fuka. I mean, of course, you know, I mean, she's the show is literally named after her, so of course she's gonna win. I mean, it's pretty obvious that she was gonna win. However, I still think Fuka is just a really, really bad anime. And it is not only the worst anime I've ever reacted to, but I still consider it one of the worst anime I've ever watched in my entire life. But yeah, that's pretty much my video of the top 10 worst anime I've ever reacted to. Like I said, I do plan on releasing a video on the top 10 best anime I've ever reacted to, so stick around for that if you're interested. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys for watching, have a great day, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Twitter, support me on Patreon, links in the description down below, and I'll see you guys next time.